Let me ask you first, have you ever felt inferior? Have you ever been particularly dissatisfied with a certain point in yourself and been brooding over it? Well, this is the topic we are going to talk about today, inferiority complex. The first person in the world to discuss inferiority complex and inferiority emotions was Adler. Where does inferiority complex come from? It means that you keep comparing yourself with others, you care a lot about the evaluation of the outside world, and then you often feel that you are inferior to others. This is called inferiority complex. Then Adler proposed a term, saying that the effort made to overcome this inferiority complex is called compensation. Now, we are all very familiar with inferiority complex or compensation effect, and they can all be applied very well. But can you really overcome your inferiority complex? Can you not care about the outside world's views and evaluations? This is very difficult, right? So what is Adler's method? In summary, there are 3 points. The first is that organ defects do not necessarily lead to inferiority complex. That is to say, there are many sources of inferiority complex. There are many people who are very healthy, but they often have low self-esteem. Everyone will have this situation, that is, others think you are already very good, but you are not satisfied with yourself. Then at this time, you will work very hard to change this situation, right? Then, I once said that it is negative energy that makes people progress, right? Because I think my figure is not good enough, so I work hard on fitness. Because I think my articulation is not clear, so I work hard on reading aloud. Well, so Adler proposed that the inferiority complex desire caused by defects can be compensated in a moderate and reasonable way. It sounds like this is all positive, right? That's not the case. The second point is very important. Adler said that inferiority complex is to give yourself a certain meaning. So you may be healthy, you don't have any physical defects, and you look like a normal person in the eyes of others. But you are very dissatisfied with yourself, which will lead to anxiety, right? It leads to comparison and makes you feel that you are a failure, full of this sense of hurt. Why is this? This is because you have given yourself a certain meaning. Then this inferiority complex can actually be eliminated. How to eliminate it? Let's look at Adler's third revelation, which is that only by changing the content of the city can you change your actions. In Adler's famous work, Inferiority and Transcendence, he wrote that if you don't change your thoughts and the angle you look at this matter, then your actions will not change, and you will not have a good future. This view comes from Adler's growth experience. We know that he suffered from rickets when he was a child, right? If I tell me another piece of information, saying that Adler has a brother who is 2 years older than him, his brother is in very good health, very handsome, and has excellent academic performance. He is simply a perfect boy. If you are a screenwriter, how would you write this story, right? The male protagonist's brother is a perfect person. He lives under the shadow of his brother, a child with rickets. Then will the story be very dangerous? He will struggle with his hatred for his brother all his life, which makes him very abnormal, right? But in fact, Adler did not write the script in this way at all. Adler and his brother had a very good relationship. Why? It was because he changed his perspective on the matter. When Adler was writing about his childhood memories, he said this. He said that everyone tried their best to help me. My mother and father had done everything they could for me, and my brother made me very happy. You see, this is what changed the world for him. His brother was never Adler's enemy, but his partner, right? So in this way, Adler became a very optimistic person. If we use Freud's theory of fate to analyze it, Adler's personality shouldn't be like this at all. He should be very inferior, very sensitive, and full of darkness. Exactly the opposite. So we can get Adler's point after reading this book. That is, he focused on the support of his family instead of being obsessed with the fact that he was worse than his brother, so he naturally wouldn't have an inferiority complex. So if we use this method to apply what we have learned, for example, if you were bitten by a dog when you were a child, or you have experienced a very painful breakup, then these will become psychological shadows, right? So if we change the content of the whole book a little bit and say, oh, I was bitten by that dog before, but I forgot what the dog looked like, and I also forgot the feeling of the dog's teeth biting my body. But I remember that day there was an uncle passing by. He was a stranger, and he was very kind to me, so he took me to the hospital on his bicycle. Does the perspective of this matter change? So when you change the perspective of the past life, you will find that these seem to be two completely different stories, and everything is not so bad, right? So Case Ichiro said in this book that if you understand Ade's psychological theory, you will find that there is a very deep problem behind inferiority complex, which is related to the value judgment a person makes about himself. But often this kind of value judgment is called, the person in the know is the one who is most in the know. You don't have a clear judgment of yourself. You are not fat, but you always feel that there is something wrong with you. You are actually quite good looking, but you always think that my teeth are so-and-so, and they can be fixed in a short time, and my eyes can be fixed with another surgery. This is all due to the fact that the person in the know is most in the know. This kind of fear or paranoia will lead to inferiority. So Adler is the one who opens Minnie's hand and tells you the method to help you overcome this inferiority and even promote your psychological growth.